And you go over the top. The wedding is at the top. You go over the top is the wedding, and then you're just screaming.
Well, even if you make plans, you never think you're really ready for marriage.
No, it's like any growth. You can't be ready for it because it's growth. It's going to be new. It's going to be new. You're going to have a new life. You're going to be a new person.
As Jerry Seinfeld stated, the wedding is the peak of most romantic relationships. The honeymoon phase will come and go, and after getting married, real-world experiences will eventually begin to impact relational intimacy. Unfortunately, the sad reality is that many couples in today's society aren't equipped to navigate through the turmoil and conflict that develop over time in close relationships like marriage. It also doesn't help that celebrities exasperate the prominence of this issue, and over the course of the past decade, we've begun to see a societal shift in the acceptance of divorce.
Whether it's just a relationship or marriage, which is more a formal relationship, all that is totally skewed and horrendously so, to where marriage is not seen as something even looked for. I wonder why people even want to get married anymore if you only have certain media to support it and substantiate it.
Yet one of the major issues with this shift is that most individuals still seek to be part of a satisfying and long-term relationship. According to Stafford and Canary in their 1991 article titled Maintenance Strategies in Romantic Relationships, a satisfying relationship can be defined as one in which the distribution of rewards is equitable and the relational rewards outweigh the costs. In order to accomplish this satisfying relationship, partners need to maintain their bond and keep each other happy.
Therefore, a schism in public opinion has formed, and the only way to resolve it is to remind our culture that long-term and satisfying marriages are possible and can still thrive. In order to accomplish this satisfying relationship, partners need to maintain their bond and keep each other happy. Through extensive research, we have created our very own set of relationship skills that will lead you to long-lasting and happy marriage. These include attention to level of commitment, and appropriate expression of emotions and affection, similarities between partners, and implementation of effective communication.
I feel so close to you right now. It's a force field.
There are high points and low points of marriages, and the low points can make you want to give up. Commitment to a relationship means that your relationship is more important than your own individual needs. Mutual commitment in a marriage is an essential aspect to the success of that marriage.
What's really standing out to me is making sure that your partner's happiness is a priority. And with that comes your partner, if they want to try something new, if they want a new hobby, if they want to explore a new job, that person being able to hold that for their partner and encouraging that and that sort of thing.
Through sticking it out and supporting one another in all aspects of the marriage, relationships are able to grow into a deeper bond and a deeper love.
One aspect of this mutual commitment is loyalty. According to Dr. Afra Gerstein in her article, Loyalty in Relationship Most Important of All, being loyal means accommodating your mate, even when it is not a choice activity for you.
Loyalty plays out in several different ways. You're right in that it involves dedicating your life to a person, whether or not that is monogamy or making sure that you're being honest and open and with your communication styles and that sort of thing, not keeping secrets. But it's also about supporting your partner and supporting your partner as an individual. So loyalty isn't a selfish thing. It's a selfless thing. It's a selfless act of I support you, I want you to be happy, and if there's something that your partner wants to explore, the other partner being willing to support that process.
As just stated, loyalty does not just refer to monogamy, but also the love, devotion, dedication, and commitment to one another. This is choosing to love someone no matter what.
Becoming committed to the marriage means more than just staying in the relationship. It also entails being committed to the other person. According to Wolpert's 2012 article titled, "Here's What Real Commitment to Your Marriage Means," researchers found that couples in which both people were willing to make sacrifices for the sake of the marriage were significantly more likely to have lasting and happy marriages.
I mentioned this in the panel. It's not 50-50. never is. It's sometimes it's 90-10. And it's not, I know that. I know my needs are taken care of because he loves me. As I take care of the kids, but I also try to nurture and take care of his needs as well. And, it's about trying to make this work. So communication, it's key. It's the desire to want to work for it. So, and if you don't have that desire, you've got to try to find it.
Sometimes it isn't necessarily easy, but by taking care of the needs of your partner, it actually allows your partner to take care of your needs. This mutual commitment to each other fuels communication and satisfaction in relationships.
Another aspect of relational commitment is the idea of shared tasks and responsibilities. According to a 2013 article in The Atlantic titled The Difference Between a Happy Marriage and a Miserable One, Kaminer, Izquierdo, and Bradbury state that the couples that lack specific guidelines on the division of labor in a relationship feel exhaustion and have difficulty expressing their dissatisfaction to their partner. Therefore, everyday interactions about household chores can affect the quality of communication between couples as they try to work out other issues.
Being married is not about doing tasks together. Life's full of errands, but if you do them together, and we spend a lot of time doing errands together. So if you have someone you can do nothing with and enjoy your time together, that's really important.
In a healthy marriage, the couple needs to be able to show affection and emotions in order for the marriage to flourish. Dayton states in his 1998 article titled Everyday Interaction in Marital Relationships by saying that affectionate expression in marriage has been heralded as the most important and influential marital interaction.
Yeah, but when we disagree, we talk about it. We never name call. We've never name called once, ever.
Well, they never call you a shiny.
Once you say it, you can't take it back. So if sometimes you just have to be quiet and wait a while, think about it, get to a better place. Figure out a way to talk about it in a positive way, in a way that has a good outcome, and then sit down and say, hey, when you did that, it made me feel negated.
In Floyd's 2002 article titled Human Affection Exchange, one advantage of properly and effectively expressing emotions is the benefit of their happiness, life satisfaction, and relational satisfaction improving.
You really don't need to show affection. You just feel it.
Okay. From different things that you do for each other. It doesn't have to be physical.
No,
it can be just
simple things.
After a while, you get to know each other's brain waves and what's going to make them feel good about it when you say something.
Dew and Wilcox state in their 2011 Motherhood and Marriage article that this frequent, affectionate behavior, while it does not have to just be physical, has been positively associated with marital satisfaction and negatively associated with the perceived likelihood of divorce.
Another aspect of affection and emotions is reciprocity. Reciprocity in relationships refers to when two individuals make similar sacrifices for one another repeatedly. When a marriage is no longer satisfying or reciprocal, it has been found that it is more likely for a partner to have evolved a tendency to engage in intimacy with other individuals. This lack of reciprocity can lead your partner to stray in order to search for a new partner who offers more support and protection.
I don't say I love you, I love you, I love you because I want eventually something in return. There's a difference. There has to be a sort of an honesty into that love and allow the reciprocity to be unforced.
Intimacy is often overlooked as an essential aspect to the success of a marriage.
So some of the flaws is intimacy issues, mental and psychological intimacy, emotional intimacy, physical intimacy. Are some big things.
According to Dr. Lisa Cohen in her 2011 Psychology Today article titled, What Makes Marriage Work? As marriage progresses, the passion that may have characterized the early days tends to mellow into a deep bond of intimacy and commitment. Therefore, it would make sense that focusing on improving intimacy would create a long-lasting marriage. While intimacy does not always have to be physical, according to Anderson in his article titled, Is Sex Necessary for a Happy Marriage?, sex is one of the only unique things that individuals get to share with their spouse and no one else. It is a vital part of marriage. This unique act forces partners to talk to each other about intimate and emotional aspects of their relationship. These types of conversations require partners to feel a certain comfort level with one another, which strengthens their bond. This intimacy creates passion, vibrance, and romance.
One common misconception about relationships is the idea that opposites attract. But after speaking with our experts, we found that the more congruent values and personality characteristics of a couple tend to be, the stronger their relationship.
You see that the more people align up not only on similar values, but similar educational levels, similar worldviews, similar parenting, the way that they were parented, the more those things align up, probably the easier it is to stay committed long term.
We do just about everything together. I can't think of a lot that we do separately, unless she goes shopping, and she loves that. But other than that, we do just about everything together.
According to DiLeonardo's 2014 article titled, "Do Opposites Really Attract?" Based on what research evidence shows, similar people are more likely to get together in the first place, and they are also more likely to find satisfaction in their relationship. Similarity in a relationship in terms of day-to-day functions and routines, as well as personality factors, will lead to more positive interactions between partners, as well as more successful daily communication about emotions and experiences.
Along with similar personalities, optimistic personalities also have a huge impact on long-term satisfying relationships. According to Sanjay Srivastava, Kelly McGonigal, Jane Richards, Emily Butler, and James Gross in their 2006 article titled Optimism in Close Relationships, optimism in romantic relationships predicts greater satisfaction in that partnership, as well as reduced likelihood of divorce.
Positivity impacts relationships in a lot of different ways. When a relationship falls into these maladaptive patterns, when there's more resentment or contempt, hostility, avoidance, problems become bigger than they actually are because we're just bringing everything that we went through, everything in our past, and kind of it boils and it festers and it plays out in our relationships. But if we can remain positive and optimistic, feeling good about ourselves as individuals, then we're in a more secure place to hold our partner when they're going through a hard time.
The practice of optimism normally leads to positive outcomes, which shows it is just another characteristic of satisfying and long-term relationships.
Another important aspect of personality congruence in relationships is the influence of attachment style of one partner on another. According to Gallo and Smith in their 2001 journal article titled Attachment Style in Marriage, Adjustment and Responses to Interaction, attachment style has been found to be a predictive measure of functioning in between and within partners in a marital relationship. In that same article, it was also stated that couples with insecure attachment styles, or those that show anxious or avoidant tendencies, had difficulty in terms of resolving conflict within themselves and between partners. On the other hand, partners with secure attachments displayed better overall functioning. Therefore, recognizing the attachment style of your partner and understanding the relationship of that style in terms of your own is crucial to resolving conflicts, communicating, and other aspects of the marriage that can be influential in daily interactions.
What do you mean?
Communicate.
It's taken a long time to realize that that was the secret to it all. That you have to communicate and let each other know what you're thinking.
Good quality communication is a critical ingredient to a successful marriage. Ever wonder why so many scenes of marriage therapy sessions in movies focus on partners working on how they talk to one another? It's because of effective communication being such an essential part of a satisfying and long-term relationship.
Most couples come in with some level of communication, and not communication in just like, I can't find the right words, or I don't know how to say it, or I need to use a different tone of voice. Those are fairly typical communication skills. These are more deeply rooted, what I would consider attachment fears and longings. So it's really difficult, it's much more vulnerable to talk about what we need from our partner, and what we desire and what we long for, because those are usually there's lots of vulnerability there and shame and guilt there, or just fear in general.
I think, as mentioned a little bit before, it is all about, trying to communicate. That's a relationship that it's a skill that I think it's way underappreciated in our community. I mean, in our culture and everything, because I have a belief that anything can be worked out with communication. I mean,
it was found by Stephen Jorgensen and Janice Gowdy in their 1980 article, Self-Disclosure and Satisfaction in Marriage, that of all the components believed to contribute to satisfying and stable marital relationships in our society, marital communication stands out as the process underlying and supporting most other, if not all, marital processes and outcomes.
Just like different sort of communication styles that are at play, and two individuals coming together and not understanding that the way they are speaking, the way they were raised to speak and share what's going on with them, might be setting off or triggering their other partner in ways because they were raised in a different sort of way. And so a lot of the things that we do is this idea of perspective taking and really looking into what's the intention that my partner is trying to tell me, instead of I'm filtering it through this only the way that I'm here, the only way that I can understand it and hear it.
Openly stating the issues you are having, explaining your reasons for being mad, or simply just calmly asking your significant other to do the dishes rather than aggressively have a greater effect on the stability and satisfaction of a relationship than many believe. Being able to effectively communicate could make or break your relationship. According to John Gottman in his 1993 article titled The Roles of Conflict Engagement, Escalation, and Avoidance in Marital Relationships, marital failure can be predicted by the quality of couples' interactions. Couples that show high levels of hostile communication forms are more likely to end up separated or divorced.
Okay. Well, the most important thing, and it's, very, very short and sweet, is to communicate. Communication is the secret to the whole relationship.
One big factor of effective communication is trust. It was found by Robert Lazzarelli and Ted Houston in their 1980 article entitled The Dyadic Trust Scale. Trust increases security in a relationship, it reduces inhibitions and defensiveness, and frees people to share feelings and dreams.
But then he also, my dad gave advice about, and I liked how he expressed it. He says, it's like someone's now giving you your own little world. And he just said, be careful who you allow and what do you allow in it. And in that vision, we've tried to always make sure that the world is always going to have some sort of obstacle or trying to pull and tug, that we were going to try to make sure that it never was going to at least enter to the point where it was going to start pulling us apart. And we weren't going to be our own little oppositions. We were going to make sure this was muted enough that then we together can deal with all the rest of the world. But that takes trying to keep something special.
Being able to trust your partner makes life easier for everyone. The presence of trust makes the relationship last longer and reduces the anxiety that comes with lack of trust.
In order to have a successful, happy, and long-term marriage, couples need to commit the time and effort into practicing the 4 main characteristics that we discussed. Partners in long-lasting relationships should be congruent in terms of personality, willing to stay committed to the promise of marriage, know how to appropriately express affection and emotions, and exercise effective communication strategies.
Even though incorporating these skills into a daily routine can be difficult, they are possible in every relationship when partners are willing to make it happen. Not only has research shown evidence for the importance of these 4 skills, it is also clear that the most successful relationships exhibit these skills in their everyday lives.
No one wants to commit themselves to a lifetime of misery in marriage or experience a nasty divorce. Through development of these 4 relationship characteristics and constant work towards bettering themselves, any couple in a long-term relationship can have many happy and healthy years together.